All right, cool. So, anyways, the question was like acquiring business financing, right? And including with maybe like a challenge credit profile. So there's a couple things you can do. Now, traditional financing, if you were to go to the banks, for example, that there for sure they would request that you have a minimum. The true minimum for like traditional bank financing is a 680, and from there it's heavily credit score based, and then you can go get the business credit cards, right? And depending on your lending footprint, there's some lenders that offer stated income lines of credit, as in like they're not going to ask for the business financials. But again, it's if you go what's called the stated income route, you're going to have a minimum of 680 and a strong profile, right? Which isn't a bad thing. It's just that it is like something to be aware of. Now, say you don't have that, but the business itself has financials, then typically you can lean heavily on the business financials to then not have to worry about meeting the credit score requirements, right? So, um, like your score doesn't matter, and so yeah, I don't know if that kind of answers your question, you know.
Well, okay. So basically, this is what my plan is. I want to do. Okay, so I'm here.
Hmm.
Excuse me. I'm here in New York, right? And I do Uber as my primary source of income. I've been doing Uber for the past since 2015. On average, I do anywhere from 8 to 10 grand a month. You know,
Hmm.
I had it under a corporation, but for whatever reasons, my lack of knowledge and stuff got messed up. So I would have to actually restart the corporation over, and basically that's what I'm trying to get someone somewhere and some guidance along the way to say, okay, this time, Dave, we're going to do it the right way. This is how it should be done from point A to point Z,
Got
and
it.
then be able to go where I need to go, because what I want to do is, okay, so I have some friends and associates of mine who buy tax deed properties. The properties do require cash, but in order for me to properly go in and be able to start going to these auctions and securing lines of credit, I would need proof of funds, and that could be utilized in terms of me having lines of credit and basically high limit credit cards and so forth and so on. So that's my easy way out, because right now I can't take the income that I have coming in from Uber, because that supports my mortgage
Right.
on my house and supports my family. So that's
Got it.
why I'm looking to that's where I want to go.
Okay. Okay. Um, so we'd have to build up your profile, really build it up, right? And so then if you
Mhm.
were to ask me, like David, like, what exactly does your program help with? Like, how can I actually take advantage of all of this? So
Right.
first, the AI I gave you, well, it's pinned at the top of the post or at the group, right? But basically, the way the free group is set up is it has everything for you to build out your foundation and your base. Because if you do not have a solid foundation, then all that stuff's gonna come back and bite you when you go and apply, either through automatic denials, extended verification, all sorts of things, right? So then basically, the fundable business blueprint talks about like how to build the actual, or not build, but more so verifying that your business docs are all in alignment, right? So, for example, I've had people where they have one address on the EIN, and then they got a PO box on their actual articles, and then when you look at the banking information, it's like another address. So it's like three different addresses, and it's like, um, this is like those little things are gonna get you denied because it just looks weird. So then again, that piece helps you organize all of that, and then from there, if you need to build up your profile, I have like the credit freedom blueprint. and then the credit liberation kit that talks about like repair, like some basic repair concepts, right? Um, so yeah, we can like you can do all of like all those free guides yourself and build it up and get to that point, right? Now the only difference is like for example in VIP you would everything you get, but the difference is like the live Q&As. I would actually like create the execution plan. For example, like Frank is a good example. He emailed me his report and I just built out his stack. We're pausing on a couple things because when I like we're just doing some slight optimization. So we're gonna bring down his utilization to a certain ratio, and then from there we're gonna reevaluate and then come up with the execution plan. Right now, in your case, it'd be more so like here is like the repair flows, like the repair flows you're gonna want to do along with how you would want to write it. Like I'd actually give you my writing framework and everything. Again, I wouldn't do it for you, right? But I'm gonna like just that alone is more than enough for you to go and like do all that. And then if we need to do some like credit profile building, we can do that. And and so yeah, I guess like this program, and that's why I say this program isn't so much like an overnight thing because sometimes you just have to like do certain actions to be able to get the right foundation to then get the financing, right? There's like, especially on the business side, there's really not a lot of hacks, like quote unquote hacks you can do, right? But we can for sure build it the right way.
Okay. So then that, and that's basically what I'm looking for. I don't want anybody to do it for me because and like you said, I want to do this so that I'm able to pass it along to some family members, you know. Nothing towards you. I'm not really into the, and I get that, you know, that the program does have you know, ways that you can make income from that. But I really want to get into this thing with real estate because I'm 50. This April I'll be 57 years old, and if you can believe, I don't know, I'll take you all the way back to 1987. There used to be a guy named Carlton Sheets, Dave Delgado. These used to be. I used to watch late night infos, and I've always had a thing for wanting to have real estate, you know. And basically, that's where my forte is. I want to leave out of doing Uber, and then you know move into doing the real estate. You know, purchase these properties, flip some of them, keep some of them for Section 8 rentals, and some other programs that New York City and surrounding counties or other states that I might look into might have available to me. And because
Mhm.
basically I'm at the age right now, I don't want to do no work. You know, the little as possible. My thing is I want to be just going around, getting on a plane, sitting on a beach or and relaxing. You know, enjoying the rest of my life with my wife and everything. That's what I want to do right now, and you know, and be able to pass it along to my children. And so basically, yeah. What I want to do is okay. So it is 697. So
Mhm.
I do have put away right now half of that, and I would say by next Friday I'm going to have the other half, and I'll make payment, and then like I am intrigued by what you said. Just sending my report over to you, and then basically you giving me a blueprint where you're saying, Dave, okay, I need you to do A, B, C,
Mhm.
EFG, HIJ, boom, then we can take it from there.
Yeah.
Is that,
No,
and is that
absolutely.
something
And
that,
oh, sorry, go on.
yeah, is that something that I could look forward to that would be done?
Yeah. No,
Okay.
absolutely. And that's the only way, like that's why I'm so big on the action thing. It's not like I know most people are like, oh, you have to take action, but it's just like a ruse for them to like motivate you to buy their product. But it's like no, like this is a do it yourself stuff, and I'm gonna give you the blueprints, everything you need. There's not gonna be a single like I don't gatekeeping action on my end, right? And but the thing is like the only way it doesn't work is if you just don't go do those things because the way it's set up is just broken up into just very specific instructions, right? And then to address what you said about how you're gonna, pass this on to others. Like that's the whole point of this. Like, um, if you were to like share this knowledge with your family and all that, like, um, that wouldn't upset me. I'm not gonna come back and be like, oh, you because you shared it with like four people, they gotta pay me now. Like, yeah, that's not the point. That's not the reason why I made this. I made it like if you notice as well, like a lot of the stuff that I'm offering, other places just don't do it. They don't, and they're not gonna do it because of they think that by giving away this stuff, they're gonna lose like everybody. Like they're just not gonna have a business. But that is just not how the world works, you know? And yeah, that's my TED talk on that.
Yeah, because I'll be honest with you, I actually left another paid group because I don't know how I found you, and I saw the information that you were giving out in the free stuff was when I went through the whole school program. I'm like, wait a minute, he's giving out more stuff, and I'm paying this school group $50 a month, and she's telling me to do 7 day the 7 day deletion nonsense. And I don't want to say it's nonsense, but for me, I did a 7 day deletion.
Mhm.
CFPB just sent me back the results from it 45 days later, and telling me that they closed the case. And the response, I mean, the garbage that the debt collector wrote was basically a bunch of garbage. And I know under the FDCPA guidelines, if I was to press them even more, it's not on my credit report, but I know eventually, even if they tried to sue me, I would also go back and and fight them, because as we speak right now, I'm actually in court with Midland right now. Because, and that's the thing with these debt collectors, they bank on the fact that everyday average people are not going to answer those summonses that they send you, and they summons me. I filed a complaint, and if you can believe the New York's city, or state for that matter, court calendar is so backed up. My court date is in the 29th of October. Now, to push it even further, I answered the response and sent them a request for discovery, and they basically denied everything that I was asking for discovery. So I knew that's what they were going to do anyway, because basically they're playing cat and mouse, and they don't have everything that I'm asking for in discovery, which will mean after I send this second response, if I don't get anything, I'm going to motion to dismiss. You
Yeah.
know, and see, they're just, and they have to understand, I mean, when you deal with certain people, and I've been around this credit business since 2017. I know a lot of people in this industry, Matt Lisco, Rodney Peak. Rodney Peak actually brought me up in the business in Metro 2. Nothing against him, but for me right now,
Mm.
Metro 2 is just not the way I want to go. It's a good system, but it's very expensive. Too many letters. You talk about 40, 50 letters, going out on one bureau at a time. I just don't have that time, and my motivation is not there. Maybe back then it was there. Now I'm just seeing further, than that. And so what? And then basically, I mean, where, like I said, I would share this program with others, is that I like to do things and get my results before I put myself out there and tell
Mm.
others, hey man, you know what? I know how to do funding. I can get you funded and this and that. So that's basically, I want to do it for myself, and like you said, it's something I can get funding, and then if I see some bigger projects that are coming along with the real estate, which I anticipate, because I'll be honest with you, I am going to start out with small properties, and then eventually, God willing, I want to get to a position where I want to start getting into some, more multi units, because that's basically where the money is. So that's
Wow.
that's the plan that I wanted, I have with this. I just, it's just in this out here in this credit world right now, everybody's selling this and everybody's selling that. The
Yeah.
Instagram reels, my algorithm is filled with, I cringe sometime and opening up my Instagram, because I'm like, okay, what ad am I going to see here? Am I going to this guy? Oh, get 100,000. I can get you 100,000. You get you 50,000. People are even moving up. It used to be 50 to 75. Now it's 50 to 100. I've even seen some influencers or content creators saying that they're moving up to 250. I said now we'll go for 250 to 500. Next we'll go from 500 to next year this time they'll be saying I can get you $1 million on no dots and this and that. And to be honest with you, man, I have friends in the banking industry. There's no such thing as true. No, you're not walking into a bank and a bank is just going to say, okay, hey, Mr. Dave, how are you? Here's a $100,000 line of credit or a $50,000 uh card and go get them, pal. They're gonna ask you for something, and they're gonna take a look at that personal. Now, whether it be a hard pull or it be a soft pull, they're gonna glance at your personal, and
Yeah.
that's why I said that I wanted to know, should I get into this before I purchase it, because I don't want to buy it and then it's just sitting there on the shelf, because I hate to have things just sitting there and then driving around at night doing Uber saying, wow, Dave, you got all this information over there, but you're not really using it because you can't your personal is not right. So, but
Mm.
you just answered that question and you said, once I send you, the report, now let me ask you this: would you need my annual? Do you go by annual, or would you need? I do have an account with my free score.
Oh,
My free score.
yeah, my free score is preferred because I do have like a credit repair company. It's more like on the
Uh,
back end. I don't ever like fully market it, but my point that's perfect and it's in the right format.
okay.
And what I'll be doing is to kind of go over like the stated income stuff and all that, like, and also like being below the cutoff and the threshold. Um, like if you want, like I think a better way to view it is like if you were to ask me like, David, can I get something with a 680? Like I'm not gonna lie to you and be like, yeah, I can get you funded today with below a
Right.
6, like no, I'm not gonna lie, right? Now if you are asking me like, do you have the tools to like take me from point A to point B, and are you gonna do all that? It's like, yeah. Now is it gonna be something easy? Like most people, like the moment I tell them like it's like work, that's literally the deal breaker, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, we can do all that. Now it's very like the product, like all that state income stuff, it's like very dependent upon the state as well. But I have like the call scripts on like how to find the banks, and then
Okay.
even if, like, for example, Flagstar is in New York, that bank is
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
hot. They don't
Yeah,
they
They
don't do
they.
state.
I'm trying to think. Oh my God. They used to be. Oh man, I forget the name. It started with a B because they were bought out. They merged. Either they were bought out or they merged with, because they used to be a credit union, and they all of a sudden they came out with this Flagstar. So they have been popping up all over the place now. And yeah, I mean, actually, I'll be honest with you, where I shop and buy my groceries was one of the first places that I saw them. And but yeah, they are they're like the newest bank here in New York.
Yeah, and they were doing stated, but now not anymore. But my point is like I can
Okay.
find banks like that, and then
Okay.
also what I wanted to do, and it's because like you're the only one that showed up, and it's probably because it's Friday and it's like
Mhm.
midday. Everyone's probably at work, but I'm gonna go. I shared with you my repair strategy, so it's like the PDF actually talks about like how I do my repair strategy, which is like I use damages, facts, and penalties, which is a legal writing framework mixed in with
Okay.
some attack flows. And then the attack flows I use, there's four. What was that? Oh, that was someone messaged me. Anyways, um, there's four documents, and then those four separate docs are like the actual like laws that you would use over the next, for example, for accuracy collection, it's like over the next 12 months,
Okay.
etc. The report breakdown here. I need to give you the rules to report breakdown as well.
Now, how do I go about making payment?
Basically, here, let me do this real quick
Okay.
to determine attack flow. How to use the docs. Okay, I should include this in the guide.
Man, I'm so jealous of your weather over there. You're sitting out in your backyard. I'm sitting in the house. We just got over a snowstorm last week.
Oh yeah, Arizona. I mean, it gets hot. That's the thing, you know.
I have a friend who lives out there in Arizona. You might know of him. His name is Flame Newton. I don't know if you ever heard of him. He wrote a book on he's written three books. He's heavy in the credit space.
No, I haven't, honestly. There's
Mm,
so many people in this industry. The more I
mm.
even now, especially the more I get involved, I'm gonna say loud. But excuse me. So the message I sent
Okay,
is really how the attack flows, because it's like, okay, cool, you gave me the flows, but like, how do I determine what flow to use? Well, that's what the second message is. And then if you were wanting to join the group, the link, I also pasted the link there, but I'll put it in the chat here as well. Right.
okay,
Basically, it's just like another separate what's it called, school group.
okay.
But I recommend, like, just take a look. Like I always tell people, like, just take a look at some of the stuff I made, and like that alone should give you an idea of like my knowledge base and where I'm at, right? Because similar to
Okay.
you, because I first got exposed to credit around, yeah, like around 2017, 2016 as well. I know
Mhm.
a lot of the repair tactics. I know a lot of like what people are doing to get the funding, and yeah, if you were just to read it, and if you have that background, you'd be like, okay, like he actually like is providing in my eyes, it's like the right info to get the results, you know. So yeah.
Okay, that definitely sounds good, and and I will be definitely I'm gonna take a look at that. But most definitely, by next week Saturday, I'll be ready to roll and join into the group. It was just that I've been in so many mentorships and and always wondering, oh, is this finally gonna be the one? And it's like, I can't even speak the words of mentorship in my house with my wife anymore because she's like, oh boy, here we go again. This one is telling you they promising you the world. Are we gonna get what we need? And I'm just like, okay, but it was something about your course, and I mean the amount of information that you have given as far as the free. I'm like, I've seen nobody else doing it,
Mhm.
because everybody else takes. It's like everybody else, they take you to the edge and they just stop, and you're like,
Yeah,
okay, I get all of that, but now what do I do?
yeah,
you know.
and like the frustrating piece, like I also tell people, because it's like I'm a business owner. Obviously, I have nothing against people making money, and I encourage people to go make money, actually, right? But there's a way to do it. Like, for example, if you solve a problem, how about you solve it completely instead of getting to the midway point and then basically saying, "Oh, I'm gonna charge you for the knowledge," is because like it's like that's not how you do like a proper what they call like a proper upsell. You solve it completely, and then once the problem is solved, then you give them the choice. By the way, the next step is this. Now, do you want to pay me or do you want to go figure it out? And I think that's a way more cleaner way to do it. And so sorry if I'm shaking, it's just it's cold outside.
No, no.
But yeah, and that is like the main thing I notice is like people aren't solving the problems completely. They're just more so gatekeeping, you know? And it's
and
okay. That's why I'm
and
doing what I'm doing.
And that's basically what I've seen because I'm just like, if I see another person advertise a free master class, everybody's doing a master class, but it's almost like it's repetitions now because you already know you're gonna build up the hype and
Mhm.
keep me on this Zoom call or training call that you call it, whatever, for about a good hour. Get me all excited, and then you're gonna drop the ball and be like, okay, you can do it. You don't really need to join my thing right now, and you can do it by yourself. But if you join today, you're gonna get this, you're gonna get this, that you're gonna get the world, and then you pay, and then when you get in it, you're just like thrown into the sea with a bunch of other fish, and then everybody's jumping around trying to figure this out because I had even looked into a courier business. You know, there was a guy named David Ramirez. He was advertising a courier business. Come to find out, you know, he said $97 to come to the 3 day workshop. Went to this workshop 3 days. You know, took off my time, from driving because it was in the evening, and I said, okay, come to find out at the end of that thing, now you gave us all the information, and then you left so many unanswered questions that a person, even if you wanted to do it, you still couldn't do it because you didn't have the proper knowledge. You
Yeah.
turn around and you want $5,500 to join into your mentorship, and then it's, oh, my team is going to work with you one on one, and I'm like, I've been down this road before. I've been
Yeah.
I don't want to go down this road again. And it's like, what I find with myself is the smaller the group, and I'm not interested in, all the bells and whistles,
Mm.
how well you're known. Does do everybody in that industry know who you are? Showing me the bells and the whistles. You driving in this car, flying on this jet. Like I said, I'm 57 years old.
No
that
one.
that those things don't interest me. To me, financial freedom, financial stability, and things of that sort, and leaving a legacy for my family. That's what interests me. And I've never seen you come across as that type of person to be flying on. I haven't seen you even I've seen your Facebook group, your Facebook post. You don't
Mm.
post those bodacious ads and stuff, and that's what I like to see. So here's a person, a person that I can say, okay, you know what, he's doing he's doing this, he's not, and even if he's making a lot of money, because I've had some very rich people tell me, they said, Dave, listen, wealth is very quiet. It's not loud and bodacious. Those are rich people. Rich is flashy. He said, you don't need to be going buying labels and all these types of things. He said, because what you want to do is use your credit, leverage it to buy the assets, and once you get those assets, the assets will pay for those liabilities, which are the labels and those types of things. Because you got to think about it. You take a $10,000 trip to Cancun, okay, but you're not making that money, and you use your credit to do it. At the end of the day, when that bill comes, now you have to go right back and dig in your pocket to
Yeah.
pay for it. And at the end of the day, what's the sense? No, I want to use my credit to buy those assets, and then use let those assets pay for the lifestyle that I want to live. And that way I don't have to worry about, okay, you know what? Hey, day, oh my God, I gotta go out tonight. I gotta go do Uber tonight. Oh my God, my wife is sick. Oh, I can't take this day off. I can say, okay, you know what? Do I want to do Uber? Yeah, I'll do Uber this week. Yeah, I don't want to do Uber this week. But at the end of the month, okay, you know that once you set up that passive income, it's gonna keep coming and coming and coming and coming, and you can't stop it if it's done correctly. You know,
Yeah.
and that's basically, in a nutshell. And I know I could have been a little long-winded on that part, but these are just some of the things I'm seeing in this industry. And I don't knock anybody's process and what they're doing. I'm not telling anybody not to go out here and make money. And if the money is out there, sure, go ahead and take it. And you said one key thing. The problem is that everybody wants the bells and the whistles, and everybody wants to be on the side of good, but nobody wants to put in the work. You can see, and I'm sure you even see it in your group, the amount of free stuff that you offer. Everybody gets on your call. Oh, this is great, 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 great. But then next week when you say, okay, well, how many people actually took the time out to even pull your report, or
Yeah.
even sign up for a credit monitor to even look at your report and see if you have different name variations. And then they'll be like, oh, well, you know what, Dave, I was going to do it, but what had happened was life started life in this week, and I couldn't do it. No, no. If you're serious about moving to the next level, you have to take action, and that I found that with anything that I wanted, because when I first started and I wanted to be an Uber driver, I knew nothing of it. What did I do? I started from the bottom. I put in the work. I started doing. I made all the mistakes. I found out what works, what areas to be to, when to drive, when not to drive. And what I found out, there were two key things. and I feel like that goes all throughout the United States and doing Uber. And there's two things that make you a great Uber driver, and it's two things, two little simple words: when and where. If you know when to drive and where to drive, you will be successful, and your car will always stay with somebody in it, and you will make the type of money that you want to make at any given time. And I've proven that to many different drivers in this business over and over. You know, so yeah, I mean, that's where I'm at. So you've given me some framework now. I know where I want to go. Okay, so my game plan is to, get into this mentorship, pull a report, and you'll give me like a roadmap of what I need to do and some actionable steps that I need to take to build. Oh, and I also need to ask you, what are your thoughts as far as, okay, what type of corporation should I open up? Because a lot of people talk about LLC. Don't open it up. Open it up. Some people talk
Mm.
about.
Oh, I believe you muted yourself,
Yeah, I'm
sir.
sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. And the C corp, they say don't open that up because then you're double. I mean, you're taxed on a higher rate level. So what I'm just basically is asking is that, and also, what are your thoughts? Because now I'm hearing that use your home address, don't use your home address. you
Mhm.
know. And now I also would have to caution myself and let you understand that okay, I have had two corporations under this address.
Mm.
One of them did have a tax lien that was on it, and when I opened up the second corporation and I never followed through on it, they attached that same lien to the second corporation. So do I use the home address or are we still going with I had an account with Opus at one
Mhm.
point and I still have and I still can get back in with them. I don't owe them any money.
Okay, got it. So, it was a two-part question: the address, and then what was the first part again? I'm trying to remember the first part.
Corporate structure,
Oh, the
LLC,
corporate structure. Yeah.
C corp or S corp.
Yes, yes. So basically, this is how I view things, and I tell people everywhere, and it's like I've been doing this for 9 years, and I'm highly educated in credit. To the point where if you were to just migrate here, right, like, and you're trying to figure out how to get into the U.S. banking system, I know how to get you plugged right in, right? But then when you talk about, like, for example, business finance, like, I know how to get businesses funded, but I view things from like an underwriting perspective, like a lender's lens, right? So when it comes to like LLC, C corps, all that, like, they view it all the same. They're like, it's all the same thing. We need to take a look: collateral, down, what's it called, credit, just all the basic stuff, right? But then when it comes to like the actual legal stuff, I have zero legal training, right? I'm not an attorney, so I really wouldn't know. Like, I really like, because again, I specifically tell people is like, look, if your goal is to get funding, get the money, and do all that,
Yeah.
like, that's what I do. That's my specialty. But
Okay.
I'm not an attorney, so I apologize.
No,
Now,
no
the
worries.
second,
I appreciate the honesty, and that's something
yeah,
basically that if I would have asked somebody else, that they would probably wing it. You know what? That's LLC is the thing, and I guess I'll do my own due diligence on that myself, and
yeah,
figure that
yeah.
out. You know,
And
how,
I just don't want to
how,
get in trouble either. Like, give someone the wrong tax information, and then I get in trouble for tax advice
right.
being unlicensed. So, and then on top of that, now as far as the address goes, this is how, like, of course, if you're able to get it, like a lease and all that, that's always going to be the right answer. Go use the actual commercial address, right? However, the thing is that before Amazon, home-based businesses really weren't a thing, and so yeah, at one point they'd be like, no, like, this is like, no one operates a business out of the home. But now it's 2026, and
Okay.
um there's people making millions of dollars. My friend Michael, I went to high school with him. He's making like $150,000 a month or something crazy off
Wow.
Amazon, and he lives in an apartment. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? Like, because he's just like, dude, I don't care. He's like, I'm making good money. Um, I don't care to go get a warehouse, an office. Like,
Right.
I'm
Okay.
fine. You know what I'm saying? And like my point is there's a lot of home-based business owners like that, and the banks now know this. So you're welcome to use the home address
Okay.
on the app. And as far as the tax lien stuff, we'd have to really look into that because it would affect fundability. Those
Right.
yeah, yeah, for sure. But other than that though, we're all good.
Okay. Okay. I just want to make sure because I know that's what I think that was last Saturday you were talking about that, and you brought up that the fact that the home, and I was like, oh man, I was like, man, everybody was saying, oh no, don't use your home, don't use your home, don't use your home, and now it's different now, and I'm like, okay, but then I remembered, okay, so okay, with the tax lien, if I opened up a new corporation under
Mhm.
with total with a different EIN, uh, would that still be? Would I still be like in a gray area?
So I have gotten someone that had like they've had a default judgment on their
Hmm.
report and or not on the report on their name because they just had other businesses that defaulted on some traditional loans, right?
Right.
And we're like, okay, so there's like if you go to the court records, like it literally says that there's a default judgment through the county, like the courthouse, right? So
Right.
uh, we're like, we can try it because like you have the report, everything's good, but that and at least what I found out of that experiment is I think it has to do with thresholds, right? Um, anything I think anything over 100 is when they're gonna switch from auto underwriting to more manual work, right? And then
Okay.
like if it's a manual underwriter, they will find it. But if it's a robot doing it, so for limits below 100, typically it's a robot. It is not gonna find it, because we got them like $300,000,
Okay.
right? Like we mixed it up with like credit cards, lines of credit,
Okay.
etc.
Gotcha.
Um,
So would
yeah.
you basically? So I mean, okay. So now in terms, if I was using like a virtual office, it would that be a better fit to just stay away from it, or are the banks flagging those right now in terms of what you're seeing?
So when it comes to the addresses, this is how it works. Like your articles and even the EIN, you can go ahead and set up like a virtual address. That's fine, right? That's not a big
Okay.
deal. But then when it comes at that time of application, on the application when it asks for the physical business address, that's where most people mess up on is if you put in a virtual there. And I spoken to multiple bankers about this. They're like the reason they don't like virtual is because theoretically, what you can do is you get all this money, you cancel the addresses, and you disappear. So on the
Right.
application itself, you put a physical, even if it's a home address.
Would a
Does that
registered
make sense?
agent count?
Uh, the registrant agent again, like it can just cause hiccups, right? That's why
Okay.
it's like I found the most success where it's like we everything on your legal docs, make sure everything's lined up, aligned, there's no inconsistencies. But then at time of application, when it
Mhm.
asks like what's the business physical address, if you do not have a commercial address, just put your physical home address because
Okay.
so far I've proven out every single approval I've gotten because like we used a home address, you know?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So okay. Is it? I mean, okay. So in this corporate structure, and I'm just asking you because I need to know how. Because basically, I'm not even going to kid you not. I use a company. I pay them pay them a fee, and they set up everything for me. They do it in like in like 3 4 hours. And I get all my paperwork back. I'm able to go. Okay,
Hmm.
in essence, if I were to call them this morning and say, hey, listen, this is once we do the name search, see that everything is cleared. Okay, they're literally in about 4 or 5 hours, they're emailing me, and I pay the fee. They're emailing me back the paperwork. I can be in the bank this afternoon. With a corporation.
Hmm.
And basically that's why I was just asking. Okay, so now with this, would I set up the virtual address and then have a second address and use that the second address as my home.
Um, the thing is like all those like for example Regis,
Yeah.
iPostal, like the address service providers, the banks
Hmm.
basically have like they have those addresses saved. So you would just have to like if you really want to just use a physical, or sorry, not a physical but like a virtual one, then I mean you can try it, you can test it. um I just know that you get more inconsistent results with that. If you want like consistency and all that, and you don't have a commercial address or anything like that, then you just use your physical home address, right?
Okay. I just didn't want any. I didn't, moving forward. I didn't want to, like you said, put the home address and then down the line we find some hiccups that we're going to encounter with that default because I know that to my knowledge that default is over 30.
Mhm.
And I know it was from but that was back from 2018 or 2017, but it was under a corporate structure.
Got it. Well, um, oh, and then they just keep finding it and attaching it. So that's really like a different issue. Like,
Hmm.
um, I mean, you can try it, but then like we probably would have to hit lower limit cards if we were to do
Okay.
just with just the virtual, you know. Um, yeah, that like if you were to okay, like if we were to play this file and see like what we can do based on everything, no, I'd be like, you know what, like normally I don't do this, but like what we do is we'll use the virtual on the app, and then even like well first you can still set up like for example busy or ink file, right? Like you can still set all that up and have them build your business, but then like at time of application I would just be like, instead of putting the home address, let's just use that physical. We're just gonna try it, right? And see
Mhm.
what happens. But yeah, like any sort of judgment, liens, anything like that, typically, if it's not resolved, it could block you. It will block you out. And another like real example was back in I think November, December. I had a client. We went to Flagstar, got him like 90 or 80,000 on the line of credit, but then at the time
Mhm.
of signing, I guess they found that he had a judgment from like from like 10 years ago, and they
Mhm.
denied him that, you know what I'm saying? So
Let
um
me ask you, when they denied him, was that under the same business or was it just because of the address? The address is linked.
they just found it. They're like, oh, the judgment's like, they're like, we found a judgment in your name, in your personal name, like what's up with that, you know?
Okay.
And
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
there's no personal judgments under my name. It's just
Mhm.
under the business.
Right, got
So
it.
that's what I was asking. Would that cause an issue?
It's possible. It depends on like how much it really
I know
like
you
it
can't.
depends on how much
Yeah.
research they do,
Yeah.
you know.
I know
And it
you can't nail it down. That's like asking you just to predict the future. Anything and with this industry, anything can happen. I've seen people go into closings and 2 weeks before they close, here comes a lien, a water bill that they had, and actually it stopped the closing, and underwriters have actually gave the go ahead,
mm,
and they got all the way to close, and day before close, they're like, "Hey, sir, ma'am, we found a judgment, from a water lien, and you need to pay this off before we can close."
yeah,
You know.
he was very similar, like days away from doing it, and then he got the call and
Uh,
like, hey, we actually found the judgment. What's going on? What is it? And that's the thing. Like typically, like and I was like really like I was like, damn, bro, because like I said, like it's like when it comes down to like, are they going to find these things? Sometimes they don't find it, and it has to do with the thresholds. And this comes strictly from like a banker that I was like I would send leads to for like a
mhm.
streamlined credit. and it was like up to 50,000. And I was like, why don't you guys do manual reviews? And he was like, it's because it's not worth our time to do a manual review because we're not going to make money on this loan. Now he's like, if it was like a $250,000 loan, then we would manually override it. But because it's a manual person, they're going to do way more research than say the robot. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I'm saying like it's based on thresholds, and so usually under 100, they rarely do that in-depth research because it's expensive, and it usually doesn't matter. Like it's like not worth what's it called, the ROI. But then like the higher you go, the more likely they're gonna do deeper research because it's like a lot
Mhm.
of money. But then also the ROI is there. You know what I'm saying? And so
Okay.
that's part of like the underwriting practices that I know is like understanding those pieces. So in your situation, they may or may not find it, you know, and we would just have to keep applications under a certain threshold, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's basically what my thinking was to, go for my first round of funding. Where you're putting ideas in my head right now is use the home address for now until I can get to a point where I can actually get a commercial address and
Hmm.
then m- then change my address. Because basically changing the address is what just going to the my Secretary of State and I think what you file a form or something and you change the address.
Yeah, you can do an amendment and do all that. I was gonna mention, like, if you like, send me some information as to like what this lien is, so I can kind of do more research if you like, and then
Okay.
also with the free, like, just in general, like if you like, you're welcome to message me and ask questions. By the
Okay.
way, even though, like, you're quote unquote not in the VIP group, like I'm still willing to go ahead and figure things out to make sure your foundation's solid. You know, because that's the whole point of the free group is to make sure your
Okay.
foundation is solid. So
Okay.
again, if you want, right, you don't have to send me any info, but if you want, like, I think
Well,
let's do
well, how would
that.
I
And
go? I, how would I go about finding that info? What I would have to go to the courthouse
the
and get that info.
typically the county courthouse, like
Okay.
for like that client was in Arizona, so we went to it came up in Maricopa Superior Court, which is the county courthouse, and that's how we
Okay.
found it. And yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
I also have a friend. She's a tax. She does a tax. She's a tax professional. Like I'm gonna pick her brain and have her figure out how to find that information.
yeah. No, absolutely.
Okay.
Um, this is a cool, productive call. I enjoyed it. I mean, you're the only one, but it's okay. Like you, like that one-on-one stuff. You just that we just did, like big bands.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
you
saying?
really,
Like you
you
got
really
massive.
enlightened me because I had sent two messages. I think your assistant sent me a message, and actually I think the other day, and these were the questions that I wanted to ask, and I had lost the link to schedule a call. And I was like, I said when I was driving last night, I said, you know what? Can't find this thing. I don't know if it came on a text or email, and I'm searching. I'm like, let me just message him and ask him what he thinks about this. And so now, yeah, I got a clear plan about what I'm going to do. So next Friday, Saturday, the latest, I'm VIP. Yeah, I'm in. You know,
Absolutely.
and then basically because it's just like I can't keep sitting around here and the group, with the tax liens, they're going to auctions, and I mean, like this week alone, they went to auction, I believe it was in Ohio, and they acquired about 10 different properties because you gotta believe when they go to these auctions, there's like maybe three people in the whole auction, and I'm like, wow, man.
What? What? Three?
Three to four people in these auctions, and they have their cell phones. They're not supposed to have their cell phones out, but there's always somebody there with the cell phones in the actual auction, and they're taking pictures, like I mean, a video of showing me going around the auction room, and you see it's like three to four people in the whole auction, and I'm like, wow, man, and people just don't know how lucrative that business is, man. if okay, but when it does, you have to have the money, and you have to know what you're going to do with the property. Are you going to flip the property, or are you going to take the time to fix it up and rent it out? Me, I basically, like I said, I want the passive income every month, you know, because that having lump sums of money is great. I do want the stability of having every month of knowing that, okay, I don't got to worry about my mortgage because I have X amount of dollars coming in from all my, my rental properties, and the properties, in other states will be handled by a management company. Once they take their fee, I don't have to worry about getting calls in the middle of the night. Oh, we got boiler's not working. Oh, a window broke or whatever the situation is. The management company takes care of all of that, up until a certain amount, and they have
Right.
to get my approval, and then they move on and do what they need to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that
Let's
way, that,
do it. And by the way, real quickly, some other things I'm working like I'm in a group called Sub Two, and it's a real estate
mhm.
investing group. And
Okay.
so I can reach out to investors at any point and really find like I'm not saying I'm gonna like make you rich or financial. I know people that are doing things, and we can always
Okay.
bring them into the group, get more advanced
Yeah.
knowledge.
Yeah.
And then the way I am is I vet people first before I even let them in. You know what I'm saying? And because I've been in business for a while, especially
Uh-huh.
because I've been in 12 years, I just know how to read people. So I'll do that. I'm gonna start doing
Okay.
that. And um, what else? Yeah, these Q&As. So just make sure to hop on. I do have to head out here in like 2 minutes.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
have like
yeah, yeah,
life I
definitely.
have to do. It's more so towards um just like my Facebook people. But yeah, I'm gotta get prepared for that. And
Okay,
yeah,
well, Dave, it was definitely a definite pleasure speaking with you, and you have answered a lot of my questions. I look forward to us, really building a solid business relationship here and then moving forward. I appreciate your time,
absolutely.
and I thank you very much.
Yes, sir. No, I appreciate you hopping on, and let's keep on keeping on. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
Okay, take care. Bye bye.